Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Asayanusaya nyana iti buddhassa vishesha nyana. It is said that the Buddhas, as the omniscient ones, that means an all-knowing spiritual master who has climbed to the very summit stage as positive side of a being. Now, the ability to know, you see, what goodness lies in a person and what evil force lies in a person. This ability enables the Buddhas to formulate a certain path, a certain modus operandi, a certain method of operation by which he can help a being to be liberated from the bondages of samsaric existence. Now, I will give you an example. There was a monk who was known as Chula Panthaka. He had a very wonderful story. He was born of in a very rich family actually. His mother was the daughter of one of the richest men in Savarthi, in Rajagaha. And she was the only daughter. Now she eloped with a servant, ran away, and then went to some forest areas, and there they lived with this person. And she had two children. One was Maha, the other one Chula Panthaka. Now, the word Panthaka means Patha is way, path, road, highway. Now, when the mother was in the, she was in the family way and she had conceived and she was about to give birth to a child, she insisted that she must go back to her parents and there have the child. But the husband was so frightened that the moment they go in, he is in trouble. He is going to be in great trouble. So he tried to, he told his wife that no, let us get it done here and so on. And so when he went out to the forest to cut, firewood, and that is how he made a living. Every day he would bring out bundles of firewood and sell this in the villages nearby and live. So now when he went out to collect the firewood, this lady ran away, and on the way gave birth to this child, and so he was known as Panthaka, one born on the highway. So once he was born, the husband then, when he returned, he found out the wife has run away. So he ran behind and then somehow overtook her on the way. So when he reached her, she has already given birth to the baby. So he said, well, what's the use of going back now? Now we have got the child. Come on, let's go on back to our place in the hut near the jungle. So they went back, and the story goes that after some time she conceived again, and the same thing happened. Another child came in the same way on the highway. So they named the first boy as Mahapantaka and the younger one as Chula Panthaka. Now, these boys agree with the village boys. Now all the village boys, they had their parents. So whenever they would play about, they would say, oh, my father has done this, my mother has done this, so-and-so is my uncle, so-and-so is my grandfather, my grand uncle, and so on. Now these two boys did not have any such relatives. So they would be asked, they say, where is your father? They said, yes, this also is my father and mother. What about your grandfather? What about your uncle? What about your other relatives? They couldn't say. So they would come back rather very unhappy and tell the mother, see, they are all having their grandpas and grandmas, uncles and mamas and all that, and we have none. What is the history of our family? So the mother got very embarrassed each time the children asked these questions, and then it so happened that she decided at last, she said, look here, the parents have a very large heart, they will forgive somehow. And that is how both of them went back to Rajagaha, and just outside the main gate of the city, there was a Dharamsala-like place where they stayed and sent an information to their parents. So the parents said, no, I can't have her in the family, she has disgraced the family and so on. So both of them should live out and make their own living, but I can take the children, they are my grandchildren. And I will give them sufficient money, let them make money, let them do business, just as I do, and come up in life. That is how you see, these young people, they went and made their own fortune, they lived, and these two boys lived with the grandparents. Now Maha had an inclination from his very young days. See, the grandfather used to go and attend the discourse of the Buddha every evening. So this boy also would go with the grandfather and listen to the Dhamma. So he became so much interested and deeply impressed by the teachings of the master. He told the grandfather, he said, Grandpa, I want to become a monk. You know, as a householder, I can never become a perfect person. There is so much of involvement in so many hundred ways, and we are always in the karma bandhanam, in the bondage of karma. So, the only way to get out of the bondage of karma will be by renouncing the worldly life. Worldly life itself is born of karma, and it's in a network of karma. It's totally entangled with karma. So let me please go and become a monk, he said. So the grandfather said, well, my dear, when you say so, very good, I will take you to Bhagavan, and if he takes, you are most welcome. That is how he became a monk, and very soon he became an arahat. Now the question here is, what kind of dormant spirituality he had within himself that enabled him, first of all, to become an arahat so soon. You see, when he was still a youth. And then a person who was destined to become an arahat, how come he was born in such a miserable way? On the way, with the parents, you see, not really properly married or anything like that, they had eloped. It was an illegal type of living. Now, these are questions, very, very profound questions. There are millions and millions of people in this world having all kinds of such tangles, and they can't disentangle them. So they get involved in all kinds of ways and suffer themselves and make their own people suffer because of unknowing. So this unknowing, avidya, not knowing the reality behind, not clearly understanding what is behind the fate, or what they call the fate, or the destiny that a person goes through. Why this person with so much of situation within as a dormant force has to undergo that kind of suffering? Now, the younger boy also similarly the same thing. So anyhow, the younger boy, Chula Panthaka, the younger Panthaka, he told his brothers, brother, you have become a Bhante, you have become a saint, and it's such a wonderful thing. I also want to become, please, a monk. Will you please make me a monk? He said, look here, grandfather wants, he loves you a lot. So he said, no, grandfather, see, we were all born on the road, both of us. And there must be something in life that we must have done something terrible to meet with such a destiny. Now I want to get out of all this karma and I want to become a monk. So the brother said, okay, all right, when you say this, and this is definitely word of wisdom that comes out of your mouth, so I will make you a novice monk. So he made him a novice monk. Now, then he gave him to study the Dhamma, some gathas from the Dhammapada. Just 4-line gatha, a verse. Let us say, Mano Pubbam Dhamma Dhamma, Mano Setta Mano Maya, Manasache Paduttena, Bhasati Va Karoti Va, Tatonang Dukkha Manveti, Chakkang Va Vahato Padang. Just 4-line, you say, 4 meter, a gatha is a verse. Very profound. He says, mind is the forerunner. Mind precedes everything, every formation, every karma formation. Before you commit any action, kayena vacha manasa, there is something happening in the mind already in the form of an intention to do something, in the form of a will to do, a volition, a will, you see, to do something, or say something, or think. So, now, if a person motivated by, impelled by such a will to do a wrong thing, or say a wrong thing, something bad and unwholesome, then suffering is definitely bound to follow that person in the way that the bullocks that pull the bullock cart, the wheel behind the bullock dogs the bullock all the time. The bullock cannot get out of it. The wheel behind, all the time behind. Similarly, if a person does good, like the chaya, the shadow of the body, wherever the person goes, the shadow also follows. So, an evil deed follows like the wheel of the bullock at the auction, the wheel dogging the auction. And here, any good thing that we do, also the result thereof, like a shadow, will follow. Now, these 2 gathas, let us say, like that, 4-line gathas, the Maha Panthaka, his elder brother, gave. So, Chula Panthaka, try as he might, day in and day out, he tried his level best to by heart to memorize this 4-line verse. But try as he must, he went on doing from morning till evening. Somehow, after great difficulty, when he had learned 2 lines, and went to the 3rd line, the first line disappeared. He just couldn't remember. So if he somehow succeeded to bring back into memory the first line, the second line, then the third line also. When he went to the fourth, the first and second disappeared, or the third disappeared. So he went on doing this for 4 long months, and he just could not learn these 4 lines. So the elder brother was a saint, but he did not have the capacity to probe into his past, deep past, to discover what is it that is obstructing this young monk from learning these 4 lines. He didn't have that, though he was Arahat, but he didn't have that vast and very profound and deep insight by which he could probe into the cause that is now acting as an obstructive karma. That is functioning. A karma is a function, functioning as something which obstructs, as a store in the store of your consciousness. Bad for karma, a dormant force that's obstructing your progress. You can't learn even 4 lines. How can you become a monk of the learned monk who is master of the Tripitaka and all that sort of thing? How can you help others to know the Dhamma when you yourself can't know? So he went on reasoning like this with the brother, and one day he said, look here, nothing doing, I am now quite certain that you have to have some more punya. You must acquire more punya in order to be able to, outbalance the store of bad karma that we have got. You see, good karma, punya can, it can outdo, it can overcome the power of the bad karma. That was the logic that his brother gave. So he said, well, maybe that is true. I must have acquired a lot of bad karma, and that is now working as obstructing my progress. So he says, I must acquire a lot of punya because my grandfather is very, very rich. I will go and give a lot of dana, this, and I will keep the uposatha sila, this, that. So he said, okay. When my brother says, I will go. So he said, look here, you have to go tomorrow morning. So that evening, it so happened that Jivaka, the great doctor Jivaka, who looked after Bhagavan himself, who served Bhagavan, and he had a mango grove, some hundreds and thousands of mango trees. It's a big estate of mango, very famous mango trees, mango fruits. So he had donated that entire vana, the mango grove, to the Sangha, saying, may Bhagavan grace that place and stay there as and when Bhagavan is here in this place. So it was at the foothill of the hills that surrounded Rajagaha. So the Buddha at that time was staying there, and Chula Panthaka, Maha Panthaka, they were all staying with the master. So when the brother, now that evening it so happened, the brother had told him to go away next morning. So that evening, Jivaka had sent his manager or whatever it is, some big, he said, you go and invite 500 arhats for tomorrow's meal, with the Bhagavan at the head. So, the Maha was in charge of this feeding program. So he was the one to decide which monk can go for this invitation, to attend the invitation. So he said, look, I have 499 monks here today. So I can only accept the invitation of 499, but not 500. Now this Chula Pantaka heard. He said, my brother has excluded me from going to Jivaka's home for a dana, for a alms meal. So he was very, very hurt. He says, what evil have I done that I don't deserve to be invited, though I am a monk? So whole night he cried. He was very, very unhappy. So anyhow, next morning the brother had asked him, look here, you quit in the morning after your morning meals, you quit. So that is how after the morning meal, he was going out, he was crying. Now, in this Jeta Grove monastery, you see, there was a gate. So, Chula Pantaka was supposed to go out of that gate to the city and to his the grandfather's home. Now, Lord Buddha, you see, he had a certain routine by which, you see, he would know, he could find out, he could probe into the past of any being about the, you see, the capacity of a person, both good and bad. Asayanusaya nyana, it is said. Asaya means the good inclinations. The result of all the good deeds that a person has done shows the results. So, you see, in the form of certain predisposition. I will give you an example. For instance, a child is just a baby. You go and fondle the baby. You give the baby a sweet baby, a toffee. Now, the baby will just grab that toffee and keep, and will not, like to share. And he will just, if you ask him, he will cry and he will make a big thing of it. The other baby, you give him that little toffee, he will take it, and then he will say, oh, will you give me back? Oh yes, quickly he will give back, and he is very generous indeed. How come one baby at that age be so generous, another baby so mean? So there must be something. It's not the creation of a God. It's not, gods don't have that kind of role, you see, as a creator, that they can create this kind of tendencies in human beings. It's the accumulated karmic, the accumulation of karmic forces that gives a certain disposition, a certain dormant, good or bad tendency in a person. So Lord Buddha, every morning, he would get up and plunge into samadhi for 2 hours. It's called Maha Karuna Samapatti. The ecstatic samadhi, he will plunge into it and remain totally immersed in that for a couple of hours. You see, in the samadhi of boundless compassion. At that time, Bhagavan would actually feel all the pain and the suffering that humanity undergoes. He literally takes all the sufferings of all us, all beings, so to say, and particularly those whom he could help. So after emerging from that samadhi, Lord Buddha will apply his special, very powerful, supernormal powers, you see, attainments, to find out. He will, so to say, in his mental, he will scan in his mental, there he will scan the entire, he will survey the entire world, all the worlds, to find out, well, who are the beings who are ready, who have got the asaya, the inclination, who have, accumulated sufficient parami, spiritual perfections, that they can be helped to get out of the bondage of the world. Something is obstructing their progress. They are not able to come out. They are not able to progress. So I might be able to help them to get out of that obstruction. So he would apply the supernormal power and find out what kind of karma, obstructive karma, that is to say karma functioning in the form of an obstruction to progress. So the karma is not just an action. It is also a function, an operation, a mode of working. It's not just an action, but a mode, a function. Let us say in a family, now it's a fairly big family where you have grandparents, great-grandparents, the parents, and children and grandchildren and so on. There, the father, let us say, he puts on several hats, each hat a certain function, so to say. Now, he is a father of his sons and daughters, and he is also the son of his father, and he is also the husband of his wife. He is also the brother of his sister. He is also the son of his mother. So many functions. The function of a husband is totally different from the function of a brother. The function of a son is totally different from that of the function as a father or a grandfather. So every human being really puts on many hats, showing all kinds of roles and different functions, all kinds of ways that a person, one fulfills the various roles. So now, karma as a function, kitcha vasena it is. Karma as a function will have to be understood, so that karma as a power about which last time we discussed will be understood. Now you can see, Chula Panthaka, something obstructed his progress. His brother was very anxious that he too might become a liberated, enlightened disciple of the Master. But he couldn't help. He gave him this verse, 4 months he couldn't learn. So he decided, he said, let him go and earn some more punya, some more spiritual merit. That is the positive forces, spiritual force or power that enables a person to get out of the bondage of spiritual, of worldly existence. So, he had good intention. He wanted his brother to become a saint, but he thought he didn't have sufficient knowledge or power to probe into the past of the brother. So, now the Buddha had that. The Buddha that very morning, when he was crying and going out, and he had reached the gate and he was really crying there. So Lord Buddha had seen through everything of this boy, young monk rather, and he had seen through that well, long in the time of some other Buddha. This young man, he happened to be also a monk. He was a very learned person with 500 disciples, all learning the Dhamma under him, a great Pandit monk. But he was a mean person. He won't teach to certain type of person, saying that, at that time some kind of jati veda and caste system or whatever system they had. So he had a prejudice against that. He said, no, these people cannot learn. They are not fit to learn. We must not throw away, we must not give a gold chain to a monkey, she-monkey. Gold chain must be given to a human female. Like that, you see, he would have strange logic of his own, and he deprived people from learning the Dhamma. As a result, he was deprived now. He couldn't learn 4 lines. And his brother couldn't see through that because he didn't have that much of enlightenment. He was enlightened, but that supernormal power was only in the realm of a Buddha, not of an Arahant. So the Buddha saw through, he said, okay. And he was also in another life a very great yogi. He had developed all kinds of spiritual supernormal powers. Very great supernormal power he had developed. The Atta Samapatti, it is called, 8 type of supernormal powers. So he probed into that and he said, one of the meditation subjects that this yogi, meditator, had been practicing is known as Asubha Bhavana, perception of the repulsive in the so-called attractive object. Now, every human being, man and woman, even the birds and the animals and all that, they think they are very beautiful, very nice, and very pure, and all that sort of thing. So the conceit of being attractive and pure and beautiful, this is a terrible conceit. Why? Because they see only half the thing, the other half they don't see. Yes, a person can look nice, a person can be radiant, a person can appear very handsome and all that. There is no question about that. But even the most handsome person, the body of the handsome person is undergoing a state of decomposition. It is rotting from moment to moment. Every cell that the human body has, every cell has a lifetime, very minute instant of lifetime. You see, it dies and is regenerated. That is to say, there is a constant process of birth and death at the cellular level, at the level of the cell. And at the level of the mind, this is even more true. It's far more true indeed than in the level of the body. So, however, coming to this particular point, see, every human being is subject to this rotting and decomposition. There is also an aspect of the body which is very repulsive. The most handsome man or a woman, let him or her get up early in the morning and just smell his or her own mouth. That's enough to send him or her into the bathroom to clean herself or himself. So repulsive is the smell of the mouth. You see. From where is that repulsiveness comes? Because the body is rotting. You are eating and that is converted into feces, horrible material. So inside the body, if one is capable of seeing what is happening inside, my goodness, all that boast of being beautiful and so on will go away. So anyway, he had developed a samadhi, you see, through this meditation based on the perception of the repulsive, asubha bhavana. I will talk about it maybe in the next discourse. This is a very, very powerful method of meditation by which a person can overcome lust for the flesh, this lustfulness, this sensuality, this madness, you see, behind sexual urge and misconduct. That can be overcome only when you know this repulsiveness. So the Buddha came to know that he had developed this. So now he decided how to help him out. So when he was going towards the gate and crying, Chulapantata, Bhagavan was walking up and down right there near the gate. So as he reached the gate, he says, well, my dear, come here. Why are you coming? Why are you crying? So he said, oh, my brother has asked me that, you see, I am a dullard. I don't have the, you see, I don't have the capacity to learn 4 lines. I must have done something very terrible. As a result, I am not able to learn. So I must acquire more punya and so on. So he sent me out. He is my guru. I am his novice monk. No, what to do now, Bhagavan? I am so unhappy. He said, okay, my dear, I will tell you something, will you do? He said, sure, Bhagavan, whatever you say, I will do. So Buddha produced a very beautiful handkerchief, a pure silk, white, bright and beautiful, very soft handkerchief, and he gave to this young monk and said, look here, I will give you a mantra. I will give you some sound. You keep on repeating that. You see, you take this handkerchief in your hand and just keep on rubbing and later can say, Rajo Hara, Rajo Hara, Rajo Hara. Rajo means dirt, filth. Hara means take away. Take away the dirt of the mind. Take away the filth accumulated through bad karma. Take away, take away. Keep on repeating this as you rub with your hand and then see. Then he said, okay, what shall we practice here? Come on with me. So he took him to Bhagavan's own kuti, and outside the kuti in the veranda he said, you sit down here and you do this until you are called. So he was doing it, he went on rubbing the hand. Rajo Hara, Rajo Hara, Rajo Hara. Remove the dirt, remove the filth of karmic deposit, the deposit of bad karmas. So like that he went on. Now after he went and did this, Buddha went away. Now Jivaka had sent his manager, the time was ready and that the meal was ready. So that is how Buddha heading the entire Sangha, you see 499 Sanghas, they went to Jivaka's home and they were seated they were with great respect and veneration. The Bhagavan was received, and every monks, their feet were washed with water. Jivaka himself did it for Bhante and the other, his family members and so on. After washing their feet, they were taken in and they sat down and they started serving meal. So they received, all the monks received the meal. Bhagavan did not have, he did not touch. So he received the meal and just remained like this, not eating. So Jivaka got frightened. He said, oh, Bhagavan has received the meal but he doesn't eat. No monks are eating. I must have done some terrible thing, something wrong. So he went and worshipped the Buddha right there and bowed down and said, Bhagavan, please tell me what wrong have I done, that you are not taking the food. He was quite close to Bhagavan. He says, no, look here, the Sangha is not complete. You wanted 500 monks, is it not? He said, yes, Bhagavan. Then Sangha is not complete, you don't have 500 monks here. So Jivaka found out from the manager, he said, yes, Maha Bhante said he will accept only invitation for 499. So now they are all here. Then Bhagavan said, look, it's incomplete, you must get 500. So Jivaka said, where can I get one more? He said, go to the monastery, there you will find. So he sent his manager back to the monastery. There he goes. He finds, my goodness, 1,000 monks, not one. All of them looking alike. All the 1,000 monks were no one than Chulapantaka. 1,000 Chulapanthakas were there. One Chulapantaka walking up and down somewhere under the tree. Another Chulapantaka was cleaning up the road. Another was sitting near Bhagavan's kuti. Like that, all of them, the whole monastery was filled with 1,000 Chulapantaka. Now, the story behind is very interesting. See, by this Rajohara, he suddenly got Samadhi. And he developed Samadhi up to the highest level of Chaturtha Jnana, the fourth level, and he remembered the past life and he became an Arahat. Having become an Arahat, he recalled all his past lives and what happened, and he also developed all the supernormal powers completely. So he said, Bhagavan's grace that I have now attained. So he is so full of gratitude for Bhagavan. He said, oh, wonderful indeed. Buddhas are indeed saviors. If there is anybody who can be called savior, it's only this all-enlightened, the supremely enlightened Buddha. He alone can do it, the omniscient one. So as he was thinking like that, so he said, let me try these various things. He made himself into 1,000 Chulapantaka. And so he was going about. Then this manager comes. He sees 1,000 Chulapantaka. He got so frightened. He said, oh my goodness, 1,000 Bhuta. 1,000 ghost has appeared in the form of bhikkhus. He ran back to Jivaka and said, my goodness, the monastery is filled with bhutas, with ghosts. So there Jivaka going to Buddha, he says, no, they are not ghosts. They are Chulapantaka only. You go and touch any bhikkhu that is right in front of you, touch his feet and everything will be over. So the manager went again. He was very, very afraid, but anyhow it is Bhagavan's own word. So he goes and but the monk who was closest to the gate, he went and just touched his feet. He bowed down and touched his feet. My goodness, in 1 second all the 1,000 disappeared. and there was only one monk. So he said, Bhante, Lord is waiting for you. So that is how he went, and the meal was offered, Chulapantaka. Then was told, Chulapantaka, you give the discourse. As a thanksgiving, is a discourse. Now here is a monk who couldn't even learn 4 lines. He gave a discourse completely quoting from all the Tripitakas, and a wonderful discourse at that, enlightening people. Now this story, my dear, this is a wonderful story of Asaya. All the good forces that are within us, functioning as dormant good, karmic force. Just as we have also the bad ones. I will pick up the thread next time. With this, I conclude. May the grace of Bhagavan Buddha, the Sarvajna, the all-knower Lord, may the grace of Buddha surround your life with wisdom and with goodness. May you all be happy and well. Sukhino bhavantu. नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्ध